This is your Weather Extreme video for Saturday, September the 5th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a great Labor Day weekend. There's a look at our surface map for this Saturday morning, and the big overshadowing surface pattern features high pressure over the eastern half of the country. But in the upper atmosphere, we're dealing actually with a little bit of a weakness that's over the southeast coast of the U.S. that is expected to meander and migrate westward across the northern Gulf Coast. So that may help to enhance shower activity. And it's going to be a big question of exactly where, but we'll see that. In the meantime, we're dealing primarily with an upper ridge. Temperatures across the area, not very cool for this September morning, with temperatures primarily in the lower 70s across the central Alabama area. A few spots getting into the 60s, and I'm sure that feels a little bit nicer. The watch warning map is relatively clear. We do have some advisories out in the northern Rockies, and some of those, the pink ones, are red flag or fire weather danger warnings, and then some of those other ones relate to frost advisories, so they're having a bit of a cool down out there. QPF, the quantitative precipitation forecast, shows that we're going to see a little bit of extra activity over the northern Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to be associated with that upper low that will be that upper low and the weakness that will be migrating across the area. Also to our northwest, we're going to see a cold front that will be approaching in about 5 days. But for us, it looks like just pretty much showers, and no telling exactly who's going to get those showers. Storm Prediction Center is outlooking a marginal risk for severe storms in parts of Minnesota, the eastern parts of South Dakota, and all of North Dakota, and a little bit of Montana. Day 2, Sunday, it looks like they up it to a slight risk, primarily over Minnesota. And then on Monday, or Labor Day, Day 3, we see a marginal risk over parts of northern Missouri and parts of Nebraska and Kansas, and a little bit of southern Iowa. In the tropics, Fred is still sticking around. Fred just is kind of like that Energizer bunny. You just can't get rid of Fred. Fred was downgraded to a depression, but now he's back up to a tropical storm. And fortunately for most of us, that Fred is staying out to sea, so not a threat to anything other than shipping. And then the other one coming off the coast of Africa is forecast by the Hurricane Center, could possibly become a tropical depression in the next 48 hours, and the future course of it is likely to be pretty much on a westward or just slightly north of westward course, and could be a threat to the Lesser Antilles in a few days. We'll be watching that one. All right, let's take a look at computer modeling, and here's the GFS for the 06Z run. And there's our forecast for today. And yes, it looks like we're just going to see some scattered showers, kind of like we saw yesterday. There weren't too many around, but a few here and there kind of dotted around the landscape over central Alabama. On Sunday, we do note that the GFS is kind of identifying that area over Georgia and North Florida as an area of slightly lowered pressure. And looking at temperatures, it's slightly cooler there, so it could be the focus for some showers, and the GFS is picking up on that along the northeastern Gulf Coast and down into the Tampa Bay area, picking up on some extra showers in that area. But for us, it looks like just few isolated showers in the afternoon. That little upper low migrates a little further to the west and stays primarily in the north-central Gulf of Mexico. In the meantime, we have a pretty good trough coming into the western Canadian provinces, and the surface feature will feature those showers down over the Gulf, and I think that's where the bulk of the activity will be, but we can't rule out some isolated showers up our way. By Tuesday, that little weakness is still there, now over the lower Mississippi River Valley and out into the western Gulf. And again, that's where we see the bulk of the showers. And we're still into the possibility of some, but we're not going to see too many, as the QPF chart showed. That weakness really begins to weaken or dissipate on Wednesday. But in the meantime, look off to the northwest, and we see coming into the northwestern U.S., coming into Montana there, we see a nice short wave, and that one will be associated with a surface low, but the low forming Wednesday. By Thursday, that trough has become fairly significant trough as it comes into the north-central U.S., and once again, we see that we're beginning to form a low over the Central Plains. The trough deepens on Friday, and this will signal the approach of a cold front across the mid-south area. You can see the surface low in the Ohio River Valley, and we can see the cold front stretching back into Texas. By Saturday, that trough has sharpened up just a little bit, and we see that it's making its influence felt all the way down into the southeastern U.S., and that indeed is true. We see that we have a surface low over the central Appalachians with a cold front trailing back into southeast Texas. So it looks like we could see a front come into the area by next weekend. But in the meantime, just hot, humid, and those daily afternoon showers. And looking out into voodoo country, the GFS maintains a pretty good trough through the 14th of September over the eastern half of the country. So that certainly shows an absence of any heat anyway. And then by the time we get out to the 20th, the GFS is taking the trough back out into the western states. But notice that over extreme southern New Mexico and the Big Bend country of Texas, we have a nice trough that is coming across, so there's embedded short waves in the flow. So this southwesterly flow could be kind of wet for us as we head towards the latter part of September. Well, that'll do it for the Weather Xtreme video for this morning. I expect to have the next one posted first thing tomorrow morning. It all depends on how late the football games go. Isn't that great? Football starts this weekend. I hope that you have a great Labor Day weekend. Godspeed.